All right, we are back from the break, and the party has just encountered a dragon ship known as the Golden Blade, or at least that's what you think it's named. As a side note, one of the downsides of the Crinspace book is that like nothing gets names. The group has a name. It's not clear if that's also the name of their ship, but I'm going with that for now. So
Oh, I see. Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of frustrating. But anyway, um, so the Golden Blade has drawn up alongside you, and that middle-aged Shao man in gleaming armor crosses over. He's got a few individuals with him as well. They look quite friendly. They're smiling. They're holding out their hands in greeting, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, actually, most of them would probably bow to you, give you a bit of a bow. However,
Okay.
having their vessel alongside you, you do realize that not as many people on the ship are Shao as you originally thought. You'd say that about a quarter are not. There's a couple humans who are clearly not Shao from other places. There's an elf. You see a Hadazee, stuff like that. So there's actually a mixed crew, but specifically, you don't really see more than like one of any given other race. Interestingly enough,
Right.
but their captain crosses over. He gives you a bow. I assume that you'd be indicating that you're the captain, Braxon, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Braxton to sort of be in the front.
Okay.
I'll be
Braxon has
next
the
to him.
captain set.
I'll be next to him as his first officer.
Braxton will bow back equally.
And he says, "How did you introduce you just introduced yourself as the Blade, correct?"
Yeah.
Okay. And he says, it is good to meet you. I have not encountered your vessel before. I have not heard of it. Are you relatively new? You do not appear to be from this sphere, by your dress and your appearances.
Yes, we're a trade ship from the Rock of Brow originally, and we came here and we found the people of Hidako are a bit short of ships at the moment. And
They decided to lend their services to transport cargo.
I have heard of Brawl. I would like to visit there one day. Is it as amazing as I have heard?
it is a wonderful city in space.
I will really need to.
Quite the interesting place indeed.
I will most certainly need to pay a visit one day then.
I must say that I've seen many shell ships at Brow, where ships can be repaired or where they can dock, but I've never seen one as magnificent as this one.
I really appreciate it. I do try to ensure that she is as glorious as I believe her to be in battle and flight.
It looks like you have a master carpenter looking after this ship.
Yes, from my homeland. The best I could find. He is very skilled at what he does.
So, are you from the Xiaolong homeworld in Realm Space?
I am indeed. We left there some years back to explore. We came to this sphere, having heard some rumors about it, and well, there are still mysteries to find. That is what we tend to do. We hear about mysteries and we like to investigate them. Right now, we are. Have you heard of the planet Nesmith?
Yes, we have. We've got a little guidebook before we came here.
Oh, I would be interested in taking a look at that if you don't mind at some point. But yes, that world it sometimes vanishes from view in the black clouds. And
Yes, we got warned against going into the black clouds from the guidebook.
I am not surprised. They can be quite dangerous if you do not know what you're doing. I have not been there too many times myself. It is very dangerous, both to myself, my crew, and my ship. But we are very curious about what happens to the planet when it is passing through those. That is our current investigation. Many scholars amongst my crew who are chronicling everything that we encounter, everything that we learn.
Sounds fascinating.
Solas backs up with the mention of scholars and asks if he could talk with these scholars, since I am a scholar of some note myself.
Oh, are you indeed? Well, I am sure that my own crew would be more than interested in talking to you and finding out what you know about just about anything.
Same to your scholars. As a cleric of Ogma, I am willing to share and acquire any knowledge that I can.
I'm sure that my people would be more than happy to share what they know as well, and learn what you have to share. Do you have any books for sale?
Unfortunately, at the moment, all my books are for personal research for me and my colleagues on this ship. So unfortunately, I don't have any books to sell at the moment.
Shame, but understandable.
But if you happen to ever visit the Rock Brawl in Brawl Space, I do know where you can find quite a lot of good information and books to sell or buy.
I would be more than happy to look you up if I am ever on that
Braxon
city.
You can most often find me in the Library of the Spheres in there.
Braxon turns to Solas and says, "How long does it take to write out a new copy of a book?"
Oh, it takes quite a while. Not something you can do in. It depends on the size of the book, of course, but and if I have to make the paper and bindings myself.
Well, I wonder if you could trade information about your books and their books, and if there's something they want, perhaps there's a way you could negotiate to make them a copy to give to them later. Or if there's something they want, maybe you could do the same.
Oh, that is possible, but we would have to discuss a way of contacting or meeting in some place.
Mm-hmm.
The captain, he introduced himself as Dao Ming.
Dao Ming.
He overhears you say that, and he says, "Are you familiar with the Crimson Caravan?"
Yes,
yes.
we met them.
Well, if you wish to make any arrangements, we have regular contact with them, and they would be more than happy to deliver anything that we purchase from you, if it needs time to be prepared.
Well, that is good to hear.
So with that, he kind of introduces you, Solas, to some of his top scholars. And I'll assume that you guys kind of go off and huddle and have conversations of your own. Sun Fayun actually joins you, and Glau does as well in your discussions.
Although if they wouldn't have, I would have sent for them.
Constantly is trying to turn it to theological matters.
That's something that we've already grown accustomed with Glau.
Well, no, Glau doesn't do that.
Yeah, but we have grown accustomed that Sun Fayun does it.
Are we going to end up with a fight?
No, he doesn't do it rudely. He doesn't do it rudely. It's just like he's the type of person that to him everything is connected to the theological. So he's always trying to see the connections and trying to draw out the connections and stuff like that.
Yeah, and Solas knows that, so he is not offended by it.
So with them off discussing, and we'll get to a point where you can let me know if there's any relevant stuff that you want to talk to them about. Otherwise, you're having a wide-ranging conversation Pardon me, with the scholars. But we'll get to that after.
Yeah.
The rest of the party talks to the captain. So Braxon, Ockar, and Finn, I assume that you're there. Finn, would you rather be joining the scholars, or would you rather be listening to the captain or talking to the captain with Braxon and Ockar?
Probably be talking to the captain.
Okay. So there's some, further introductions and stuff like that, and a bit of small talk. But he's very curious about like what you've seen, what you've experienced. If you have any unusual things that you've encountered, and you can kind of ask him about other things that you want as well.
Yeah, we could, without going into a lot of detail, because we don't really know if we can trust him yet. We could say that we've recently taken a tour of the moons of Zivlin, where we were trying to see if there's any civilizations on any of them. And omitting the thing that we thought we saw a possible base there, we could just go over some of the details from that, just to see if that prompts him to share details that he's discovered.
All right, Lafdul, we'll get to that afterwards if you're kind of mixing with the crew, and that's kind of thing that's going on is like he is
No, I'm just mentioning it. That's all. So
right. No, I know, but it's all about like who are you talking to, what kind of information are you getting to, but we'll get to that after handling the captain, I think, and then the scholars. But like if you're willing to have your crew mix with them, with theirs, he is.
Yeah.
Like they're very friendly. They're very open.
Yeah.
And
he
very
said
eager,
he was interested.
These guys, you're definitely getting the impression of classic explorer type personalities in everyone on this ship, including like down to the sailors. These are not sailors that he has just picked up. These are sailors who are here because they believe in the mission, kind of thing.
Right.
So they're like, down to the cook. Like the cook is talking to your crew members about what kinds of foods that they've encountered in other spheres and stuff like that. The sailors are interested in all the different worlds and places that you've seen. It's top to bottom. They're all curious. So Braxon, in your talk about the moons of Zivlin, you bring up the port on Morgian. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I didn't want to say anything where we thought there might be a pirate base, but basically we bring up the details that they probably know anyway.
Right, but are there any specific questions that you want to ask him, or is there any information that you're dropping in hopes that it leads to him talking about it? Like, I also want to know how you're acting. You don't need to specifically say what you're saying, but I'm more looking to find out where you're steering the conversation, what questions you're asking, that sort of thing.
Braxon's basically going to say the quick conclusions that we've drawn about each moon, including the ones that look like they've had some sort of something that's destroyed the civilizations there, and ask if he's explored any of these moons and if he's got any theories about what's gone on them.
So he has visited most of the moons, and what he will tell you. Let me take a quick look. Hold on a second. So, like, in a lot of ways, he's going to agree with some of your conclusions. He's very curious about what has happened on those the three moons, Paladin, Miacc, and Chemosh, about what has gone on with them. One of them clearly appears to have undergone a cataclysm. Two others seem to have evidence of civilizations in the past or something like that that have vanished. So he's curious about that kind of thing, but he's also the kind of person you can tell that he gets a problem fixated in his head and he wants to pursue it until he's solved it, kind of thing. and for him, that's stuff regarding Nesmith right now. But so you
Right.
mentioned that you're the port. Are you talking about Morgian? Was that Morgian that you mentioned that you meant?
Yeah.
The swamp world.
Yeah. Let me check the notes. It's basically no, Braxon is going to avoid mentioning that.
Okay, you're specifically avoiding mentioning that. Okay.
Yeah, because basically, these guys might be fine. They might have nothing to do with the pirates.
No,
and
that's
they
fine.
probably don't have anything to do with the
I
pirates.
understand. I must have misunderstood. That was
Yeah.
why
I mean,
was...
you could mention the word, but leave out the
He
thing
will.
that we noticed there.
Oh, he'll definitely miss out. He'll definitely mention the world, but we definitely won't mention that. And it might, if they're good, it might lead them to land where there's pirates and get attacked.
Right. So my question again is like, what kind of information are you trying to get out of him?
Well, I was just thinking if you had any theories that. I'll tell you what, Braxon. After a while, when Braxon's gone over things and spoke about things, he'd say, "We've been hearing stories of pirates, and we're wondering where they might be because we want to avoid coming into contact with them."
Yes. Some of the pirates are quite dangerous. I have encountered the strike myself once, but we managed to fend them off. They are very, very dangerous. I would recommend avoiding them if you can. I have not encountered too many others. I have encountered the golden... the singing sword, sorry. The singing sword. But they did not attack.
Right. That's lucky.
Did not have any direct contact with them. They just avoided a combat scenario, and I had no particular reason to go after them myself.
So I take it you don't think the pirates are holding out on Nesmith if you're intending to go there?
No, I do not believe so. We have been there a few times, and there are dangers, but pirates, I don't believe they are one of them. In large part just because it would be so far away from all the shipping lanes.
That's
Nesmith
true.
is a dangerous planet to get to and leave, and it would be not conducive to smuggling and black market trading and that sort, which is what you tend to find at pirate ports, as I understand it.
So what have you figured out about going to Nesmith so that you can find out what happens to it when it's in the Black Clouds? Are you going to try and land there and stay there and then leave?
Oh,
or are you going to try and leave something there?
We've been there on occasion, but it is a hostile place. We've had to leave and get new supplies, attempt to find other sorts of things to protect ourselves. We have not been able to stay long enough to do the surveys that we wish.
Does sound tricky, working out what it's doing when it's in the Black Clouds.
So he's happy to discuss that, but it's all like none of it's touching on pirates. It's all about the dangers that they've faced and the dangers of that planet, which it's a mixture of natural and monstrous. So I mean, he'll mention some of the monsters and stuff like that, but it's not really touching on anything piratical in nature. So do you have any other questions that you want to ask him?
Probably. Let's ask about. Braxon will ask him if he's investigated any of Kryn's moons.
Just briefly. We have not had much time to visit them. They are, so far as we can tell, mostly innocuous. Some wildlife, oddly colored plants. The dark moon, most of the plants are dark. On the red moon, most of the plants are red. And on the white moon, most of the plants are white or silver. It's a very unusual prospect, but we have not spent time there. Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Mhm. Right. Does he want a tour of the ship?
I mean, if you offer a tour of your ship, he'll be more than happy to take one, but he's not like... He's not so curious about your vessel as he is about what, experiences you guys have had.
Ah, right. Okay. Well, if he's not hankering for a tour, Braxon won't offer one. I thought you said he wanted to know about our ship.
Right, but he wants to know about, what you guys have done, not about, the capabilities of your ship or what
Right.
it is. He's
Got you.
not that curious. It's life experiences, unusual things that you've seen, mysteries that you've encountered.
Yeah.
Just and things that for you might be ordinary, but for him are extraordinary. That's a big part of it too.
Well, I suppose Braxon will keep him occupied while the others are talking.
Well, Finn and Ockar are there with you. Is there anything that you guys would bring up or ask about?
I guess so. We've already asked them about the pirates, right? Have they heard of any recent pirate attacks on their travels or spotted anything odd?
They will tell you about the some pirate attacks that you're already aware of that they've heard of, and a couple that you haven't heard of, but they're not recent, as in the last couple months. They're 4 to 8 months old kind of thing.
Okay. We could have Lafdul try his Thieves Guild thing to see if there's any rogues or anything in there.
Lafdul's going to be going amongst the crew, and I'll handle that in a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I suppose we could ask about.
I mean, if you can't think of anything, you can't think of anything. That's fine. So.
Oh, let Braxon say what he was gonna say.
All right.
I suppose we could ask about those creatures we've heard about.
Yeah, we could ask them if they know anything about the big insect creature that we heard about, or the plasmoid thing.
Yeah,
So he is familiar with plasmoids. He knows nothing about this insectoid creature that you mention, if you mention that. And he's eager to find more, learn more about it because he has not heard of it.
Okay.
So I'm okay with you sharing. You can say what kind of information you'd share or not. But he has not, it's new to him, so he's clearly doesn't have anything to add.
I think we'd share that information on the sort of guys that we heard the secondhand from some sailors.
Okay.
Which is kind of true.
No, that's fine.
It's kind of true, but lowering the significance of the information.
What specifically were you going to ask about plasmoids?
If they know what weaknesses they have, stuff like that, they're how they basically function, and if you end up in a fight with one.
He will say that he has not fought them very often, but they can be quite wily individuals because they may not appear to be so when you first encounter them, but they are in fact amorphous beings and can do pretty amazing things with their body mass. And end up being very strong in certain ways.
And do they have any specific weaknesses they knows of, or do you
None that he's really aware of.
Okay. How resistant are they to do you need to use like magical weapons against them, or are standard weapons just fine?
He isn't aware of any particular weaknesses or strengths of them, other than those that he mentioned.
Okay.
Finn, did you have a question? I thought I heard you about to say something.
I'd be asking about any unique flora or fauna he's seen in his travel.
Okay. So that kind of gets into a bit of a discussion from him. One of the reasons why they decided to stay in the sphere was because of Kislev, and they wanted to explore that planet quite a bit. And they've done some of that, but then, like other mysteries caught their attention, especially now with the Nesmith. And he'll mention some varieties of strange plants that they encountered on Kislev. He'll say that the alchemists and herbalists amongst his crew have found some of the plants to be particularly potent in cures and poison antidotes and things of that nature.
Interesting.
And he'll share some of that, within reason of the fact that, that's, you're not spending days and days with them, so. But he definitely does say that if you're interested in plants with unusual properties, in his travels, he has not encountered any location with as much variety as Kislev.
Yeah, we may well visit there sometime when we're not carrying cargo. Does sound like somewhere where we could earn some money.
He'll also mention that if you have specific questions about that, you can also seek out the Gatherers. He kind of indicate, like, the way that he talks about them is a little bit. He's a little bit, like, they're. He doesn't feel that their goals are. He doesn't really approve of the way they operate, I guess I'd say, but he doesn't indicate that they're nefarious.
Oh, Braxon will ask his eternal question of, have they seen any special types of lumber in the sphere?
He mentions a whole host of wood types that they've investigated on Kislev, with all kinds of different properties.
Right. Braxon might actually take some notes.
Most of those properties tend to be in, like, the grain on this is such that when it's made into this type of furniture, it is absolutely gorgeous, and this stuff is very good for making tables because it stands up to table use really well, and that kind of thing. So
yeah, Braxon explains that he's on a long-term quest in between doing his other duties to try and find the ultimate wood that will make the perfect ship. Something that would make stronger keels and hardy planks.
I mean,
but he'd also say, I as a carpenter, I can appreciate that you can get beauty from wood grain.
Well, I mean, he also points out that there's varieties there that are useful for all kinds of different properties, but not so much so that they would have any in-game effect. Finn,
Yeah.
Did you have any follow-up questions after hearing about some of the plants?
No, just kind of asking in general.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We're also interested if they've met any unusual looking people on ships or in ports that seem a bit suspicious.
I mean, well, okay, when you add in suspicious, that because he was like about to start talking about all the wonders of the peoples of the galaxy, the universe, I should say, throughout the known spheres and beyond. But when you mention suspicious, he says, "Well, I'm not a tradesman, so I don't have a whole lot of dealing. Most of my dealings are with the scholars and sages and the like. Most of them have been on the up and up. he'll give you a couple names of people to perhaps avoid and stuff like that. Not so like he's not indicating that he's aware of any particularly nefarious connections between them, but like this one he believes they overcharge. This one he believes sells substandard goods, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I mean, maybe they have nefarious connections, but he's not indicating that he's aware of any.
Yeah, sounds like he's in the wrong sort of business for that.
Yeah. So, Solas, do you have any questions, or is for the scholars, or is this mostly just personal knowledge gaining that you're?
Well, is any of the scholars a spellcaster or mage?
They have many spellcasters in their crew.
Would any of them be interested in exchanging spells?
Not at this time, because mainly just because they don't think that there's the time involved on this visit. And that also means that I don't have to generate spell lists for them.
It's good that you are honest about it. Well, I
mean, literally, the only named crew that I have is the captain himself. So I'm trying to keep this as light as possible. If for some reason they become more important to the plot line, then I can
there was only one spell that I was at the moment really interested in gaining.
Yeah, unfortunately,
that would have been Lightning Bolt.
Just not gonna be the time. However, if they have, they'll clearly indicate that if both you guys find yourselves in port for a period of time for like repairs or resupply or something like that, they'd be more than happy to discuss that.
Well, then my inquiries mostly is about the Green Sphere and what they have, what wonders they have found in here.
Okay. So you get a variety of general information. Is there anything that you think, like any questions that you have that you're trying to slip in that might help with the current mission or anything else like that?
I will try to inquire them if they've noticed any how should I say, strange movement of ships or something like that in near the Green moons or.
They have not really. They will say, like some of the members of the crew that you're speaking to have engaged in spell battles with the Strike, for example. And they will indicate that the Strike is fairly powerful, and they would kind of say that they believe that the only reason that they managed to fend off an attack is because of their excellent crew, the high skill level of their own crew, especially considering that their vessel is smaller than the Strike's.
And also, in the part of conversation, I will try to inquire if they know about the group, the Seekers, and would be interested in joining if they are not members already.
They are very aware. Some of them are members of the Seekers but they'll also indicate that there really isn't they'll indicate with kind of it's so unfortunate, that kind of thing, that there's no real headquarters for them here in this sphere. They hope that in the future there will be. Partly it's just because there's the unofficial location of Palanthus. The Seekers for the most part evacuated when the big war happened on that planet. So
Those that are members of the Seekers, I will basically mention that I'm mostly based in the Braala system from the Library of Spheres in the Rock of Braal, and mention few Seekers if they happen to visit them, basically to give names that might be.
Some of them would be familiar. It's
Yeah.
just more of a case of, I mean, when they send their reports, they have to kind of send them through other means to other places. Some
Yeah.
of them are sending their reports to Brawl. Some of them are sending them to locations in Gray Space, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Do I, by the way, can you say if Tier Space has a large enough Seeker presence to have a headquarters?
Yeah, they would.
I also mentioned Tier Space and mentioned that I'm originally from there.
Okay.
And if they ever happen to visit there, I would be happy if they would let basically I will give my family's name and let them know that I'm doing well.
They're like, none of these people are going to be going there anytime soon.
Okay.
So that, like, I think that from the conversation you would understand that none of these people are likely to be leaving Kryn Space anytime soon.
And they do not know which way they will leave when they leave.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. This is absolutely a local ship. Many of them are, in the course of conversations, like, they'll be talking about how there's more mysteries here to investigate, more things to learn than any one person could learn in a lifetime. So that's the kind of thing, like, they fully expect that at some, they'll retire at some point, but it's going to be explore Kryn, retire kind of thing, not like, we're done exploring Kryn, let's just go off somewhere else kind of thing. That most of these people are not that sort.
Okay.
Lafdul, you are mixing with the crew?
He is.
All right.
He's making small talk because they all seem like a bunch of from the conversations that the players have had, like, this ship's like they all want to know about like traveling and what's been on other spheres. So he's going to be talking about like Radar, Green Shield, Penundra Space. He'd be talking about that sphere. He'd just be making all kinds of conversation, and then
some of those spheres you've kind of been asked not to say anything about, so you might want to be careful about that.
Really? Oh yeah, he did say that, didn't he? All right then.
Radal sphere is fine.
Well, yeah, adjustments. This is in winter space, wasn't it?
Yeah, winter space.
So yeah, you would talk about the extreme heat and how horrible it was to be out in the desert, but it was also kind of like an enlightening experience, putting it bluntly.
So, is there any?
He's going to steer the conversation towards his current objectives, and we're looking for like. He's basically trying. He's trying to pry for information. Is there been any recent attacks, like in the last week or something, like really recent as it gets? Because this is a ship that's traveled around. They're bound to have like exchanged information. Surely, I would assume.
Yeah, but nothing that they've heard about recently. Like, they haven't heard anything that recent. And the things that they have heard that are recent, as in like the last 4 months, are things that you've already heard about.
Did they? Since I would have learned that they fought off the
The strike.
Can I gleamer any information about them and what their crew's like since they fought them?
Very skilled. but for given the size of the vessel, and I'm pretty sure you are aware that they are flying a death spider.
Oh.
Yeah, they fly a death spider.
Oh, that's nasty. That's
yeah,
usually
so,
attack on site ship.
But they don't have any Neogi in their crew, so far as anyone knows. And they would be the best to know, considering that they are, they actually did fight them off. But they do not have the full complement that kind of vessel could carry. They will be able to tell you that. But again, a Death Spider is over twice as big as a dragon ship, so the fact that they managed to fight them off, that says a lot. That either says that the strike is not as powerful as they appear to be, or these guys are much more powerful. They really punch above their weight, so to speak. What can they tell you about the strike? Let's see. Extremely skilled. They will actually be able to tell you that their priests and herbalists on the crew had to work overtime, and they lost people due to poisoned arrows.
Oh. Well, that's very useful today. Can I inquire about their cleric to see if I can learn about an antidote? Because they must have had to study this poison.
Well, they were mostly using like generic antidotes. I mean, they're priests obviously using like slow poison spells and cold poison spells and neutralized poison spells. I will say, give me an herbalism check, please.
Herbalism, my favorite score. Proficiency, because I seriously thought that was a 17.
Okay,
barely a pass.
Yeah, you're able to glean enough that I will give you a +2 to any healing proficiency checks, specifically to
I'm making a note.
Handle
this strike poisons.
Yeah, to handle their poison.
Can Lafdul teach that knowledge to me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd probably teach that to you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if Lafdul gets poisoned, he wants to make sure that you're able to cure.
Yeah, it would maximize our capabilities of saving people.
Wow, is it just thermal stuff, or is it like healing only?
Well, do you just need to make a healing check when you have herbalism, right? To do an antidote to try to heal poison. And I mean, it just gives the target a new saving throw, right? Essentially, if I remember correctly.
It would take a long time to explain in this. I think there is a check. Basically, you got to make multiple checks, and every time you fail that check,
all right. So what I'll say
is more damage to
Okay,
yourself.
well, what I will say is that you will get a +2 to any relevant proficiency checks.
Yeah.
In dealing with this poison, and if you succeed on the appropriate checks, and I'll make sure to reread the stuff if it looks like you guys are going to encounter them. And in addition, if you succeed your checks, then not only will they get a new saving throw, and with any other bonuses that may apply, they'll get an additional +2 to their saving throws.
No. I will double check the information after the game, but yeah.
Yeah, it might be a good idea to kind of write down the
poisoning mechanics, because it's a lot a summary of it at least.
Specifically the
you need to roll this, add that modifier.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Like the formula for spell research and that.
So just kind of a quick notes. To cure poison, roll this, and then they get saving throw or whatever it is. So
yeah. All right, that's cool.
So are you asking about anything else? Looking for any other rumors?
Can I, based on... well, actually, no. Do they know anything about Red Njord and the Octopus? I forget the name of their ship.
They don't really know anything about it other than what they've heard. They have not encountered them.
If they heard about that Minotaur mercenary guy?
No, they don't have much. Like, because of the nature of their craft, they haven't really moved in the same circles, kind of thing.
Here's a question. What about that? Where we were recently at, one of those moons, was it a moon or a planet? It was barren. It had a castle and a wizard on it. Did they know anything about that?
Yeah, so it wasn't a barren world. It was covered in grasslands and forests and stuff like that. But yes,
Did
they
know who this
have. They have heard of Greymark. That's his name. That's what they.
Oh, Greymark.
Yeah. In fact, not only have they heard of them, they will tell you to talk to the captain about him.
Oh. Okay, I will remember to do that before. Yeah.
Well, if you want to just insert, I'm fine with mixing up the timelines here.
Yeah.
Do you want to go talk to the captain, or do you want to kind of like let the pull Braxon aside and or something like that?
I'd mention that. I'd pull him aside and tell him what the crew man told me.
Right. What I mean is, do you want to ask the captain, or do you want to have Braxon ask the captain?
Well, I'll tell Braxon, and he can make a decision, considering he's the captain.
Okay, Braxon.
Braxon to say, if you think we should talk about it, then
well, because this wizard's gonna be like, he might have dealings with pirates and stuff. I mean, he's not going to be too scrumptious of where he gets his stuff from.
Well, it might be.
Yeah.
You don't know the alignment of the wizard.
Yeah, someone that keeps everyone else off the planet is pretty much.
He could be lawful good, but he just doesn't want anyone else to come there.
Seems pretty selfish for a good alignment.
You haven't heard of him like going out blasting people who do so. You haven't heard exactly how he gets people off the planet, but
still,
it would be more of a story if it was like, he comes in, just lightning bolts everyone who lands there, kind of thing.
Yeah, you might be able to trade for scrying magic or information about these pirates.
And also the natives were kind of the opinion that they also didn't want that many outsiders settling there.
Yeah, we also had our suspicions about him, didn't we? I think you should ask the captain.
Yeah.
Braxon will introduce Lafdul to the captain.
Okay. So Delming, I think he probably would have overheard you asking about the remedies for the poison.
Braxon will also say, "This is one of our experts in figuring things out."
Yeah.
Well, and he would have heard. I think he would have overheard at least little snippets of the conversation about coming up with remedies for the poison. And he says, yes. Having those antidotes, if you encounter the strike, would be very useful. I do believe it is one of the reasons why they are so successful, is their use of poison.
Yeah, that's extremely useful to know. If we could save the lives of our crewmen, then all the better. I mean, sure, they're out here for the pay. I mean, unlike yours.
I mean, his crew are out there for the pay too. It's just that they've chosen.
The way that it was implied. Money's not a thing that I'm here for.
I mean, they're still paid well, but so how are you gonna broach the subject of this wizard?
Well, basically, Lafdul is. He's like, oh, that wizard. Well, we weren't sure if we should visit it. Did we look on a guide that said that wizard didn't like visitors? Did it say on the guide?
It did say that, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll refer to our guide of Korean space. That it's said to avoid that place with the
Yeah.
wizard. He doesn't like visitors. Well, so I was wondering, have you had any dealings with him at all? And I'm wondering if the guide's maybe not up to date, or I mean, he was looking to, I don't know, inquire about his services. I mean, if he's lived in Korean space for a long time, he might offer scrying magic services or something. I don't
Well,
know.
a couple of years back, I did get it in my head to try and find out more about who this wizard was. His castle, as you have seen, is quite impressive.
Yes, quite
Yes.
unusual geometry.
So we did attempt to land, and he appeared before us in as a I think some
In
sort
a cliche manner.
illusions magic. Oh yeah, totally. I mean, why wouldn't a wizard appear in a cliche manner? He warned us off, but I spoke to him and pleaded with him. Say, we're explorers and we are interested in all the worlds of Kryn space, and we mean no harm to him. He Dao Ming goes on a bit about that kind of thing, and then he says, "I finally did manage to convince him after much discussion to at least give me an audience." And he did teleport me into his castle.
Alone?
Yes, alone. I had my armor and my weapons with me, but I made sure to that I was to inform him that it was a peaceful manner. He didn't give me an opportunity to leave it behind anyway. But we had an interesting conversation. I got the impression that he is very much a loner and not interested in other people that much. He has found some individuals, some creatures that to make a home on his world, as he calls it. They act as guardians if one gets through before he is able to detect their presence or something like that. But I got the distinct impression that he is not a hostile man. But he did ask me if I had any magic items that I'd be interested in selling to him. He seems to be a collector of some sort. I did have a few items that I had no interest in. I did trade them to him for some very useful information on surviving the black clouds out around Nesmith's orbit. It was quite useful. If you do choose to pay a visit to him, I would recommend offering magic items to him if you have any spare. Anything that you might think he would find useful.
The deck of many things comes to mind.
It would be one way to get rid of it, wouldn't it?
It would be a fantastic way. He would get himself killed.
He might do, yeah.
He is quite a powerful wizard, so I would advise against crossing him, though, if you have some idea of that. You seem to see a little glint in your eye of getting an idea
there. It was a case of we have an item.
He's not pressing for information. He's not looking for you to expand upon that.
No, but I would indulge him, actually.
I don't know that you would, though. I mean, like, based on what you know about this item, would you really be telling just random people that you've encountered, even if they seem friendly?
Solas at least would advise highly against it.
He was telling random people earlier that he went to Radol, which is a bit like saying, I've been to Disneyland and sat in Mickey Mouse's chair.
Yeah, it's probably a place you've already heard of, but I'm still making stories and making conversations. Maybe they hadn't heard of Green Shield or Iron Piece. You know, all the various places, the citadels.
Yeah.
I'm just making conversations, so in order to reciprocate information exchange.
Yeah, but he was just adding that on. He saw a little glint in your eye, and I think it's the kind of thing you'd be like, "Oh no, I wouldn't dream of that." That kind of thing.
Yeah.
You
mean-
do know that it would be bad idea.
Is this?
I mean,
is this
again,
when-
I'm not, as a dungeon master, I'm not saying you don't do that. You can absolutely do that if you want.
Is this when Lafdul gets Nistral's magic aura cast on a load of junk?
All right, now, I'm sure the party would have said keep it hush hush.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
not
I think as a group, you guys have kind of.
Considering that we keep the item locked up very tightly and warded,
Yeah, I know it's a bad item because it's already cursed Paul.
so we would not really advertise that we have it, since there might be quite a lot of people and parties that would want that item.
Would they?
There
I
might be.
mean, for example, if there is more people that have dealings with those devils.
Well, the cult that had it before we got it, someone like that will be interested in it
Yeah.
for definite.
I wouldn't be mentioning anything like that if I were to. I'd be more of a case of, oh, this is a magic deck that does this.
Yeah.
All right. So, is there anything else that anyone wishes to ask or anything like that of the Dao Ming and his crew, the Golden Blade?
I wrote what I wanted to ask to on the Roll20 chat.
Yeah, so it's not so much that they have plans for downtime. It's that it's more of if they happen to be at a place, like they don't plan things out that deeply because
Pity.
they went back. They're heading back to Nesmith right now, and they expect to spend at least a few weeks there. And part of it is a lot of that time is gonna depend on how well their supplies and preparations hold up. You would learn that the forests apparently move. They haven't figured out why.
Ooh.
But they also know that one of the more dangerous life forms on there are Umber Hulks, and that's one of the things that they are really careful about. They have to be really careful about.
Wow, Umber Hulks. So I wonder if there are Neogi there.
Well, they'll also mention that there are aquatic Umber Hulks, being that it's a swamp planet.
Oh.
Also, Umber Hulks not necessarily mean Neogi.
Well, they do to Braxon. He's a spacefarer.
Yeah, but these are planet-side Umber Hulks.
Yeah. Oh, to someone like Lafdul, Neogi use Umber Hulks, but to someone like Braxon, he would mostly hear of Umber Hulks as Neogi slaves. That's what most people would think they were.
So he knows that there are some Neogi vessels in Kryn space. He has not encountered any himself, other than, of course, the Neogi vessel that is used by the Strike, which he has encountered. He has not encountered any Neogi crewed vessels, but he is aware that they do exist. They do slave raids on various planets from time to time, but he doesn't know much more beyond that. So, any other questions?
I can't really think of anything else.
I can't think of anything.
All right.
And what with us operating under a cover story, it's a bit hard to ask them to come back to us if they have any problems with pirates.
Yeah.
I mean, if they held off the strike, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, this is functionally an adventurer party group, so...
Yeah.
Rather than, like, traders or something like that.
The captain did say he was interested in the guidebook. Braxon would be willing to show it to him and say...
Do remember that you do not show the sketch that I made.
Well, did you tell Braxon you put that in there?
I think Braxon would know.
Since
Yeah,
you have the book.
Yeah, you have it. you would know.
You
Yeah,
know the bit
well-
of sketch in there.
Okay, well then, when Braxon picks up the book, he'll carefully take the sketches out and put them down on the table in the helm room, and then he'll pop up and say, "We picked this up from Adida on the Rock Brow," and
he'll skim through it if you allow him.
yeah.
He'll be very impressed with the work.
Yeah, so Braxon will be saying, "How complete do you think this is? Do you see major things missing from it?"
Oh, there are major things missing, of course, but I mean, how much can you really fit into a publication this size? It is good for what it is. It is clearly aimed at traders like yourself. So I think for your purposes, it will suit you just well, just perfectly fine.
Braxon says, "Is there anyone that you buy books from? I've heard of a legendary book called the Geonomicon that's supposed to be quite good. Is that the sort of thing you might have a copy of?"
I wish I did, but no, I do not have a copy of that. No, when I do book purchasing, which I have quite a collection myself, it is mostly through the Crimson Caravan. I have many standing contracts open with them for various supplies and goods. If you have any, if you encounter them, I highly recommend taking a look at their offerings. They are a trustworthy bunch.
Yeah, we've met them before. We've had a look at some of their stuff.
Oh, indeed.
They said they also have. Sorry?
Oh, indeed. That is good news, and you understand what I am saying.
They said they had a base on Riox where we could look at some stuff.
Indeed they do. And he'll basically reiterate that information that you had already gotten from the Crimson Caravan.
Yeah.
Old?
Mm-hmm.
How large are those research books that we have for magic? The ones we got from the Illithid.
The ones we can't read.
The ones you can't read?
We can read them.
All right, do you have a specific book in mind? Because most of them have titles that you could take use of.
Just a moment.
I didn't think we could read the Illithid books.
There were quite a few that we could read.
I mean,
the ones actually written by Illithids.
Yeah, most of those books that are useful to you, those are tomes. Those are like £10 kind of thing.
So copying one would take quite a long time.
Yes, and be very expensive for you.
Someone's life work of studying a single subject.
Not necessarily life's work, but definitely multiple years go into the research for that book, and then probably a couple more years to write it.
I mean, Lafdul's writing books about poisons and antidotes and all kinds of how it functions, how it works.
You know those books that were actually written by Illithids? I don't think we could read them.
Right, no, but you got some that were not written by Illithids.
Yeah, the Illithid had quite a few books that were not written in Illithid language. There were some that were written in Common, some that were written in Dwarven, and...
No, the reason why I brought those books up is maybe this guy will be interested in trading them for some other books.
Solas will, once he have a not pressing book creation situation, he will start translating them with spells.
Translating which
right.
ones?
The Illithid ones.
Yeah, slight problem with that. Which I think I've indicated to you before.
Well, no.
I didn't think we were able to understand them.
Yeah.
Well, you can magically decipher them.
Nope.
What do you mean now?
It's a tactile script. You don't read it with your eyes. And you kind of lack the tactile appendages to read them.
Right. So, you have a guy here who's interested in rare books. who may have some books that we don't have that are useful for the people that have the library, who may or may not be interested in illithid books. He might not be interested in them, but I'm thinking you could show him the books we've got that we can't use and see if he would be interested in swapping any of those books for books that he has. What do you think?
Well,
It's like a one chance.
that's something
Yeah.
to think about, but we don't have to do it necessarily now.
We are not likely to meet this ship again.
I mean, if we ask some small trinket from the captain, we can always track him.
Yeah, but
He's not
What are you
likely
gonna
to
do
give
with
you
those-
anything like that.
what are you going to do with those illithid books that we can't do anything with?
Come
This
up
guy
with a
might not
spell
be
to decipher
interested in-
them.
I
Sorry.
might be interested in giving them to seekers.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you've got something lined up for them, I just thought that it might be a chance to enhance your library.
You can make an inquiry, I suppose, see what they say about them.
Yeah.
I mean, if you'd rather give them to the seekers, then fair enough. But I'm just
I mean,
thinking,
okay, let's nail it down. Solas, are you interested in even finding out if they're interested in them?
Well,
not at all?
I can make inquiries.
Right, but so you
If-
are
if-
willing to do that because you don't have to. If you just want to say
yeah,
no,
if-
I'm not interested in doing that, that's fine.
Well, if the offer is something that I can't refuse, basically, then I will do. If not, then I will most likely give them to seekers, so seekers can try and find a way to decipher them.
So yeah, they would not be interested in them for the
Okay.
reasons that you for the same reasons that you would have trouble reading them yourself. They can't read them.
Mhm.
that's a shame.
You just need an improved divination spell.
Well, I suppose all that they need to do is get one of the shell to be turned into an illithid.
Ah, out of curiosity. Oh, I don't have the spell, that's a shame. I'll have to ask the spell when I get the spell. I was wondering if I could polymorph self and if I could read
Nope.
Illithid script.
Nope.
Yeah.
I can tell you
So-
right now, no, you can't.
So are we continuing on to reorgs or what?
I don't know. I'm waiting to see if there's anything anyone else wants to ask.
Yeah, we're going to now. Didn't Lafdul, didn't you keep a diary of what you did on Radol?
Yeah, but then Solas beat me to it, and so did the Seeker, so I just gave up at that point.
Well, hang on, but you had
It's probably been lost.
another copy, didn't you?
I had it somewhere. And
So we don't have one now, but you could write up another copy.
yeah.
Yeah?
It doesn't sound like he's interested in whatever you're
Okay,
proposing, so-
yeah,
I
that's
have
like-
the information on my card sheet of what I wrote still, but it was only like half complete.
What-
It was like kind of like I was going to sell it, but Solas beat me to the punchline. So yeah.
Okay, but what I'm saying is if Solas has sold his copy to the Seekers, that doesn't stop you from going to this collector and
I
saying
didn't
you'd be
think
willing
to-
to.
I didn't think about selling it elsewhere. It was kind of like something.
Yeah, but that wouldn't stop you from saying, I will write you out a copy of this in exchange for one or two of your books if I can have a look through your library. You don't have to do it, but this could be a way
Well,
for you
no,
to
the
get some
idea
books.
is good, but I don't think Lafdul is inclined currently for a certain book. Unlike Solas.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not
Fair
saying I wouldn't do it. It's just not on his mind right now. That's all.
Well,
Is there?
this was Braxon nudging you to see if any of you wanted to trade books.
Oh yeah, I know. I know what you're getting at. But...
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a book guy.
So,
Exactly.
all right. Is there any other information
You're
that you
not?
want to try to get out of him about Kryn Space or pirates or anything like that?
You can read, but he doesn't really focus
the
on books.
holy tier book, no scriptures, no. That's not
He
interested
has
in reading
he has
that.
a holy scripture that he keeps in his room, but he doesn't like read from the library on the ship.
Well, I mean, considering that the library on the ship is basically entirely magical writings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I only recently got the ability to read magic.
Well, no, not. I don't mean that. I mean it's magical topics for research. The books themselves are
Yeah.
magical.
The only thing I'd probably be interested in is the stuff that Lafdul got for like clerical stuff. But other than that, probably not.
You've got access to divination, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you might potentially be able to learn spells that read magical text if someone taught them to you.
You would probably not be able to teach him magic because of the very different forms of your magic. So, all right. So I'm gonna assume that now no one has anything else that they want to ask him.
Yeah, Braxon would just ask if they know of any unusual weapons. We heard of we heard a rumor that someone was using some sort of weapon to chop masts down in a single blow.
No, I mean like that. There's not really that much that they could tell you about that in particular, and if you're asking about unusual weapons in Kryn space,
yeah,
tell us about dragon lances.
You're gonna get a lot of information. No. You're gonna get a lot of information about gnomes.
Yeah, Braxon's quite happy to know about gnomes.
I'm not happy at all to know about the gnomish weapon.
Braxon does say he's heard that
So,
the
again, no,
he
he doesn't know anything about that. He's not familiar with that at all.
Okay,
there's nothing that I think give you about that.
I think we've probably exhausted all the lines of inquiry.
All right. I mean, that's fine. I'm not when I'm asking for, if there's anything else. It's not like I'm saying there's more information that you can get. It's just simply, has anyone thought of anything? Because most of the time when I do that, then someone's like, oh yeah. So okay.
Yeah,
once again, anything else, or are you done and moving on?
I'm good.
Good moving.
Okay.
Going twice.
All right. So. Yeah.
No, that was a joke.
Oh, sorry. All right, so you say your goodbyes. You part.
Yeah, Braxon will tell them the name of the place that sells that guidebook if they
There we go, the brawl.
If they ever want to ask someone to order books for them.
Well, it's not really a book; it's a pamphlet.
It's a pamphlet.
Yeah, it's a
pamphlet. It costs all that money.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of...
It's a very detailed pamphlet that folds like 90 times or something.
No. I mean, it's still like 16 sheets, like 16 pages in total. But
we got ripped off.
It's a pamphlet with dense information and they constantly update. And if you can go back and get updates for free.
That's true.
So you're paying. You're not paying for the printing of this. You're paying for the information itself, which is extremely valuable.
I suppose when we go back, they'll sell us a little booklet called Up the Garden Path that's even more expensive.
If
Get that joke?
Don't worry.
Yeah,
it's fine. All right, so you're continuing on?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
If Braxon had complained about the price of information within Solas' hearing range, Solas would have given him a sermon how information is really priceless.
All right, so you can move 2 more tiles. The rest of your trip is uneventful.
The rest of the trip is
uneventful. The rest of the day, I'm sorry.
Rest of the day,
Rest of the day.
Is this
okay.
Now 10 days, or is this
it's
now
starting the 10th? Starting the 10th.
We're now approaching Kryn. And my plans, just so everyone knows, because Braxon's been saying about navigating things, were to fly to the orbit of Riox and then follow the orbit around.
Okay.
I've updated my to wear my flower thing as well. Then wear my flow. Keep getting that.
That's fine.
So we might go on a flyby of one of the moons in the next day.
No. I mean, unless you're specifically going to the planet itself. I mean, this is these blocks are very big, so
you can fly in the same block and still go past it with Spelljammer speed.
Yeah, and it's still basically just a dot in space kind of thing.
Can I clarify something? Just it's about my Dwemer flight. It says my Arctic can store a dozen, so that's literally 12.
I'm going to have to say that I will answer that after the game because I would need to go back and look at the spell, and I'm not going to do that right now.
No, that's fine. I don't want to add more if there's going to be potential.
Yeah, and
we can retcon some stuff, but for now I'll look at the spell. Don't worry about it. All right, so you're not stopping at Kryn or anything like that. You're going right by it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You can keep going.
Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Right. This is when we would possibly get attacked by pirates if they were on one of those moons. Oh yeah. We'll be battle ready, I suppose, if we're aware there's people that might be on the moons. I suppose we want to tempt them to attack us, don't we? So yeah, we'll just go through. Have there been any signs of those weird clouds that we heard about?
The black clouds?
No, the other ones.
Oh, the clouds of freezing vapor? No. They would basically have to actually fall into your gravity plane, I think. I have them I have them on the random encounter chart, but you haven't encountered.
So they work like a random encounter. Fair enough. Okay.
Back.
So here's the second one.
Okay. And as you are pulling away from Kryn, I mean, you didn't stop there, but you drop out of spelljamming speed to see ahead of you a vessel that you would guess is pretty clearly on course to Kryn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the best you can do is describe it as a contraption.
Oh no!
Ooh!
I'm out.
So,
it's conveniently enough your ship. Oh look, we've missed that random encounter.
It's a mishmash of parts. Looks like a lot of salvaged pieces has gone into this.
This is an excellent opportunity for Ockar to pick up information.
I'm not talking to Tinker Gnomes. You can talk to Tinker Gnomes if you want to, but I'm not dealing with them.
Look at that ship.
Is Ockar distrustful against the Tinker Gnomes?
I don't know. Something just being near them is a danger. Anything on them or around them could explode at any time.
But look at all those little bits of ship they've cobbled together. That could be any of those ships. Could be wrecks of previous ships attacked by the pirates.
So, Braxon, give me a quick carpentry check.
Uh-huh. This is where Braxon works out that it is indeed a ship.
You would guess, based on its shape, it is primarily a cargo vessel.
Uh-huh.
And partly that's because you can see nets hanging off the side with crates in them.
Yeah. Braxon's having a look at it, trying to see whether it can land without falling apart.
There's your answer.
You would not want to be in it when it tried to land. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
You can see clearly a lot of moving parts. And there's definitely a smokestack up top too, or maybe a steam stack or something like that. I mean, there's some kind of smoke or vapor coming out of a large pipe or tube up top, and they are signaling.
Braxon nudges Ockar and says, "Look, we might get a chance to talk to them. Imagine what sort of useful information we can learn." Right, so Braxon's gonna Have a look at the signal.
Ockar's gonna walk down below deck and just let Braxon handle this. He doesn't want anything to do with Tinker Gnome.
Conveniently enough, this is happening, I think, at like shortly before shift changeover, so you both would be awake.
Okay, fair enough.
Whose shift was the? Whose shift?
It was yours. It was yours.
I'm going to bed. You handle this.
Solas would be very interested in speaking with Tinker Gnomes.
Yeah.
Ockar just goes to his room. He doesn't want to deal with any of this.
So they are signaling that they are on a trading mission from Riorx to Kryn, and have no valuables whatsoever, unless, of course, you happen to like Spaham, in which case they have plenty, but they are not interested in trading or giving up any to potential pirates, so please do not hurt them.
Pity we don't have Alpha.
Braxon signals back and says, this is a blade.
I will also note, just real fast, they did not give their ship's name.
Oh, right.
Which is, you don't know if that's an oversight or not, but there was no
maybe
ship name in there.
Maybe the ship's name would take too long. Or maybe they haven't had a committee to decide on what the ship's name is since they last bolted something onto it. Braxon says this is a blade out of Hidako heading towards Riorx to trade goods. And we also don't want to meet pirates. Do you have any information about the location of pirates?
They will signal back that they have nothing to do with pirates. They have a lot of Spaham that they do not believe that pirates would be interested in. As tasty as it is for gnomes, they're pretty sure that pirates would not be interested in Spaham. So please do not take their Spaham.
Braxon.
So you're saying that Lassell needs to steal the Spaham?
It'd be kind of hard to steal the Spaham.
Braxon signals back that we are peaceful traders and would not take your Spaham unless we were trading it for other goods.
Wait, is Spaham just space hamster?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you not heard of Spaham?
Wait, is this space hamster? Why would you kill a space hamster?
Because they're the size of brown bears, and they're
tasty.
But they're adorable! Those monsters! We have to kill them all now!
How did this guy become a paladin again?
Don't ask me.
Yeah.
No, that was out of character.
Yeah, I know.
You know this is how the King Priest created the cataclysm on Kryn.
By threatening to kill all the Tinker Gnomes?
Yeah, he said it's no good. Tinker Gnomes are evil. We have to kill them all. And then an asteroid landed on his head. That's Dragonlance canon. That's all you need to know about Dragonlance.
They kill Boo. They can't be good.
No, they don't kill miniature giant space hamsters. There's just not enough meat on them. So, what are you signaling back to them?
Braxon signals back that we're peaceful traders, and we would not take your Spaham except in trade for other goods.
They signal back that that is great news. They are currently carrying a load of Spaham to Mount Nevermind. They cannot trade any at this time. It is all pre-purchased, but they'd be more than happy to trade you some improvements for your vessel if you'd like. They have a great many improvements if you'd like. There's and it starts going off on all kinds of things, like a waterless shower that also serves you a toast in the morning. They have a comfy chair that also happens to double as a kink remover for your back. Don't mind all the lawsuits that they've had about that. And a few other devices that may be of interest to you if you are interested.
Mm-hmm.
They don't actually seem to be moving towards you, though. They do seem to be skirting around you.
Yeah. Well, Braxon's not going to have our ship make any hostile moves towards them. Braxon turns around to whoever's there and says, they're heading to a port called Mount Nevermind. Is it worth us finding out where it is on the map in case we ever want to go there?
So you do remember, that is mentioned in your guidebook as a port on Ancelon, with the caveat that it is a Tinker Gnome port, so caveat emptor. Like that,
Right.
That's essentially how it describes. It's an open port. It's a friendly port. It is a place that you can absolutely 100% go. They are spelljamming aware, but it is Tinker Gnomes, so beware.
Yeah, but there hasn't been a war there.
Yeah,
Why would anyone want to wage war against Tinker Gnomes?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like we're not likely to learn much from these guys.
Ask if they're from Iron Piece. Just a random thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Braxon will signal that to them. Are they from Iron Piece?
They are not from Iron Piece, they signal back, but they have heard of Iron Piece. In fact, the captain has a second cousin, thrice removed, who is currently in charge of one of the academies there. If you happen to be, do you happen to know how they're doing?
Which academy?
An academy that you had not heard of before. It seems to be the academy for podiatry and haircutting.
Yeah, I can't remember the academy that we visited.
We visited the poetry and was it gardening academy?
Yeah.
They were combined.
Braxon will send back that I'm afraid we only visited the Academy of Gardening and Poetry.
They signal back, that is a shame. No one in the crew knows anyone who is currently working there. Although the cook did have an uncle who was a researcher there. Unfortunate things happened with regards to giant space hamsters, so they're still paying off. They're still paying off the debts.
Yeah.
He studied the space hamster so much he became one with the space hamster.
Right. Does anyone want to see if these people want to dock with these people and talk to them? I know Ockar's hiding in his cabin.
I think you have a very vociferous no in the party right now.
Solas wouldn't mind.
I'm not against it, but I'm not for it either.
Do you think they might have any interesting books?
They don't seem particularly interested right now. Like they're signaling you, but they're still skirting you and trying to move off.
Okay.
You are a bigger vessel and better armed vessel than they are.
Yeah.
You could have asked them if they were selling interesting weapons.
Yeah. Okay. Braxon will send back. Do you have any interesting weapons for sale?
Ask him if they got a giant magical pointy metal, very, very long stick.
No, unfortunately, they do not have any weapons for sale. Their cargo does not contain any of that. However, if you are interested in a variety of very useful weapons, they would recommend that you visit Steelfire Caldera on Reorx. They give you a couple names of people that you can visit there and get all kinds of fascinating devices, including double plus improved gnomish sweepers.
Braxon
that have about 10% of the kinks worked out of them.
Gnomish sweepers, very good.
No, double plus.
Double plus
gnomish sweepers.
Ooh.
10% of the kinks have been worked out of them. Only 90% left. They're very clear about that.
Very good.
Impressive
a wish spell would.
Very good.
Say if you have a wish spell, I wish that this Tinker Gnome thing was free of all kinks. By the very definition of the
I think that would
contradict.
I think that would cause like a hole in the space-time continuum and just suck up the entire multiverse. So you're gonna pass. I'm getting the impression that you're passing by this vessel, correct?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I think Lafdul needs to get a holy symbol that's a Tinkergnome object.
So, Braxon, as you are passing, you are able to see the name on the vessel. It is surprisingly largely written, so much so that it basically runs along the entire length of the vessel. It works, or at least it would, if the hamsters didn't keep running away. There's no spaces in that either.
Yeah. Well, Braxon signals back saying, "Thank you for the discussion, and may your giant space hamsters never weaken."
They signal back that they greatly appreciate your kind words. It means a lot to them, especially after poor Fuzzy Lumpkins passed on 3 weeks ago from choking on one of the mechanics.
Aww.
And then you move on.
Mm-hmm.
But did the mechanic survive?
They did not say.
Hamster die?
They did not say. So you do not know.
Mystery. Lafdul will one day have to figure out.
So it'll take about 2 days, 2 more days to get to Riorks.
Mm-hmm.
Or the rest of this day and then the next, I suppose. No.
2 more days?
Yeah, the rest of this day and the next. That's what it is.
Lafdul would be praying to Aravan throughout this whole journey.
Okay.
So one day he's going to get an answer. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. You read the book, your fault. Aww.
I mean, you could always take the initiative rather than expect your deity to do the work for you.
No.
Wow, just no. Okay. All right.
My deity is there to provide a reassurance for poor Lafdul.
Have you ever considered the possibility that Lafdul's deity might be a Tinkergnome, masquerading as an elf?
That would be sacrilege.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to...
The whole world would start shattering around him.
I think you're going to need to go on a holy war against Braxon there. All right, so you you get to Riorks. The guidebook gives you enough information that you could find any of the listed ports, which...
So that'd be another day, wouldn't it?
Yeah, a second day after that. The rest of that day after encountering the gnomes, and then one more day.
Yeah, so I'm making that 11 days in total.
Yeah.
I would have refreshed my contact on power a day before.
That's fine. Okay, so on Riorks, you are aware of 4 ports. Hardhammer Pass, Iron Sand Mesa, Forge Flue Flats, and the Steelfire Caldera.
Yeah, so the Hardhammer Pass was the one where the spy was. And the other 3 ports are where the various kings are located, aren't they? So Forge Flue Flats was where the Dwarven King was, wasn't it?
I have to go. I think that's Forge Flue Flats. I believe that's where the non-Tinkergnome King is.
I thought you said that Iron Sand Mesa is where the non
Yes, you're right.
King
You're right.
was.
Sorry, no, I was
And
misreading.
Steelfire Caldera was where the Tinkergnome King was.
Yeah. Sorry, I was misreading.
So I think we got that the spy was at Hardhammer Pass, so it's down to whether Forge Flue Flats is where the king is, or whether Hardhammer Pass is where the king is.
I think he's located not in one of the ports itself. I think there's a non-port city that he rules from.
Right. Okay.
But Hardhammer Pass, I believe, is also where you were given information about meeting the Crimson Caravan, if you wanted stuff from them.
That's
yeah,
true.
I have a couple of books that I need to buy and a couple of books that I'm selling.
Was the was that was the company of the Chalice at Hardhammer Pass as well?
They don't have like official headquarters, but you can basically find them wherever dwarves are. Essentially.
Right. Because I thought there was someone we wanted to meet that Ockar could talk to about hiring people.
I don't know if I gave you a name.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know if we had a name for an actual person, but we met with that. We met with that lady that was from the Pragmatic Order of Thought, and she gave us a heads up.
Yeah, but I think it was basically like they're located wherever the dwarves are on.
Oh,
on
she
Reels.
didn't have like exact information.
She would have the exact information for you, but it's just like you can meet them here, here, or here kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
Because dwarves tend to be lawful good, and Company of the Chalice tends to be
Yeah.
a lawful good organization.
So, what does everyone think? Are we going to try to primarily come down in our disguise of traders and see if we can figure out this spy? Or do we want to try and get someone like Ockar to make contact with the local, for want of a better word, law enforcement people, and see if we can coordinate with him? People might not like us beating up a spy in a pub in their city.
Do both.
Do both.
Split the party.
Okay. So it looks like it's the end of the game, but we sort of have to have our ducks in a row, so to speak.
That's why I said split the party. That was why we don't have to decide necessarily right this second.
Yeah. All right. I guess we're.
I don't know. Maybe we'll think of something during the week or something. So.
Was Hardhammer Pass the one where you said we could land our shuttle at?
Yes.
So we don't really have a choice anyway. We have to land there.
So Steelfire Caldera. It's an extinct volcano. And the caldera itself has filled in with water. So ocean-going vessels can land there. Iron Sand Mesa and Forge Flue Flats both have flat surfaces for land-based landing vessels.
Right.
Hardhammer Pass is actually in a gorge, in the wall of a gorge. And they do have a pool, but they also have dry dock facilities.
Right. Okay, so we'd be able to land there. All right, I guess we go down and pass ourselves off as traders, try and make contact with local authorities, and also see if we can fish out the spy.
So you're taking your whole vessel down, or are you taking just the shuttle down?
No, we'll just take the shuttle down.
Okay.
Because we pretty much got the cargo on the shuttle.
Yeah, that's fine. I need to calculate the docking fees.
Yeah. Oh yes, less docking fees for a shuttle.
But you can also only top up water based on the shuttle, so.
That's true, but we can take barrels down. And we could buy extra water if we wanted to. We haven't really been out of port much.
All right, so that'll be so you all board the Dolphin shuttle, and head down.
Right. I suppose the other question is who are we taking with us? Because we did say we might go up against this guy, and if this guy's going to try and charm someone, we might need to brief people that.
Well, I can be the negotiator or pretend to be the first officer.
Yeah.
I just make myself look like a human.
Oh, you said you're not so good at being charmed.
Well, it's a known thing that elves are pretty resistant to being charmed.
So, GIF are pretty good at being resistant to stuff as well, aren't they?
No, magic just doesn't work on them. Sometimes,
Yeah.
like dwarves.
Yeah.
But it's the magic resistance that protects them. But if they fail if magic resistance fails, they are not that well protected against charms.
Yeah, not any better than Braxon. Okay, so well, would the dwarves be more protected?
Dwarves get a saving throw bonus to magic based on their constitution.
Right. So, and we have dwarves, and they would fit in better on Reorcs, so we'll take the dwarves. How's that sound?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you don't have enough dwarves, and they're not actually sailors.
Okay, because a lot of our dwarves got killed, didn't they?
They can do. I think you replenished everything.
Let's have a look.
I think we restocked.
Yeah,
restocked the dwarves. Yeah, no, I think you hired new to get back up to where your numbers were supposed to be.
Right. Oh yeah, we've got 5 dwarven marines.
Yeah, but that's the number that you've had.
Forge space.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the dwarves are actually out of Brawl.
Yeah, they are. So they won't speak the local dwarvish. So are we going to want to take more people than that? What's the crew we need for the shuttle?
I'd say we keep as much as... just take a usual compliment. I don't think we need a fancy compliment.
Okay. But
and
basically...
I think the one that is trying to charm would most likely try to focus on officer rather than crew members.
No, that's true. But Braxon wants to give the Dwarven Marines a specific briefing that we are going to the planet disguised as traders, so we maybe need to have them not look so good at fighting, and that there is a no good doing person on Reorcs.
All right, so real
who
fast.
Has a history. Yeah.
Dwarves always look like they're good at fighting.
Okay, fair enough.
If you've got dwarves as warrior, like that you've hired as guards, that's considered a tough group kind of thing.
Fair enough. What I meant is
also every merchant would have somewhat guards and fighters to protect their cargo and sailors.
Fair enough. But okay, fair enough. But it was that they were Marines, and we want them to look like they're fighters, but they're not. To not look like the best fighters. To look like they're average dwarves rather than the exceptional dwarves that they are.
I don't think most people can really. Yeah, like so.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no. So let me just be clear, because the reasons why they're good is because they have actual levels.
Yeah.
I think they're 5th level or 4th level fighters.
They are 5th level.
5th level. But you can't just look at someone and know, unless you want them to use different equipment. Like that's the only thing that you can do visually.
Yeah.
Basically, you would have to be really experienced fighter and spend quite a lot of time to observe people to know how good or bad they are in fighting.
Okay. In out of character terms, what Braxon is basically saying is he doesn't want them to give away the fact that they're 5th level fighters,
You can't tell that.
Right, and that's what I'm getting at, is that in character there's nothing to give a... Like, if you encounter a dwarf, you have no idea whether he is, you know, a 0-level dwarf, i.e., or a 20th level dwarven fighter.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, you would have to spend quite a lot of time to observe them.
Yeah. So
I know.
Hold on. So in character, if you want them to look different, it's the equipment.
Yes.
What about my disguise proficiency?
Yeah, that might help.
But here's the problem. They have equipment that they use. They don't have a lot of alternate equipment that they don't use.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So here, like, what I'm saying is, I don't know that there's a whole lot that you can do to change their appearance unless you have some dwarven armor and weapons that you want to give them, like leather armor and short swords rather than their axes and, I think, banded armor.
Well, the main thing that Braxon was trying to get at is that we're kind of on a spy mission.
Right.
So what they need to do is to assist with the fact that we're just a trading ship. And if they meet any dwarves that are friendly, not to give out any information that suggests how good they are at fighting.
Okay, that's fine.
That they should play along with the cover story and be happy to let people underestimate how good they are at fighting.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, let me answer that, because this is kind of directed at me. That is perfectly fine, and they will be happy to agree with that. That's more of, you know, don't give away things in conversation as opposed to look like something. They can't actually look like something.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was getting at.
Okay.
The other thing is Braxon wants to make it quite clear that at the moment we're using Lafdul as bait, and if this hostile person tries to mind control Lafdul, we might need to subdue Lafdul. And if the plan changes and the person tries to mentally control someone else, either one of them or even Braxon himself, they might need to subdue someone else.
So they and any other crew that you're bringing down will basically ask, if there are two conflicting orders, who do they listen to?
Okay, so if we come into contact with this person, we'll know who we're using as bait.
Right, but no, it doesn't. That's not the question. The question is, if Braxon is ordering them to do one thing, and Ockar is ordering them to do something else, who do they listen to?
Well, we'll be going through the normal chain of command unless someone else unless someone is specifically acting as bait. So Braxon says if he chooses to act as bait, he will let them know that he is temporarily not the captain while he is acting as bait in case he gets mind controlled, and then when everyone's satisfied that he hasn't been mind controlled, he will be acting as captain again.
Me and Solas can take magic that can detect charming.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a bit hard for me to do it if I'm having a conversation with someone, but Solas can do it, or even Finnel'ar.
Yeah, and I also have a dispel magic to basically dispel the charm.
Yeah.
You read all Lafdul's magical swag that you might have to store. Well, actually, most of it's in a pouch. So.
You mean stuff that hasn't been stolen by dragons yet?
Oh.
Also, if I know that you are charmed, I can just use the dispel against the charm.
Yeah, I think what Ald was getting at is that if someone says to these NPCs that somebody's charmed, then they should clobber them. Who they're going to believe?
Yeah, that's basically what they're asking. Is like if they're getting conflicting orders because one person has been charmed, they have no way of knowing who is charmed.
Yeah.
Unless you have some way of indicating to them who is charmed.
Trust Solas.
I mean, is that what you want to tell them? Like, is there a single person that is going to have the authority to indicate that who is and is not charmed?
Another idea is we could make sure there's always 3 officers on deck.
That's good.
And then majority
so two
rule?
would agree,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, majority.
Okay. They will be fine with that if that's the case.
Here's the 3rd officer.
Well, that doesn't matter, as long as there's just always 3 officers giving orders or something like that. You know, basically what it means is that if 2 officers say something and a 3rd one says something else, they will take the 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get
And
that?
the 2...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you've got the 5 dwarves? Are you bringing down any human crew, any gift crew, or is it just the 5 dwarves and you guys piloting the vessel?
I mean, we need the crew to unload the cargo.
Yeah. Let's see what the minimum crew is.
Do you want one of your helmsmen operating the vessel?
Yeah, we'll have to.
All right, so of your 3, who do you want, Nor, Nemariel, or Sun Fayon?
Actually, get Nemariel because she's an elf.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. But we've also got this new helmsman who's quite good at stuff. Do we want to bring him with us?
He's so busy reading books. It's like Lafdul has a very low opinion of him.
So right, but so here's the thing: is that
it's good at casting spells.
Do you want to take 2 spellcasters with you and risk your vessel being immobile in space? You're the main.
That's true.
No,
all right.
I think we only need 1 for the shuttle.
Okay.
To be fair, I don't want to single out Ockar, but Ockar can fly the ship now as well.
I mean, I could.
Yeah, and we can use Ockar in case if our helmsman gets incapacitated on the shuttle.
Yeah, I could be the emergency helmsman, even though I've never done it before.
Okay,
Get some practice in.
So looking at the stats for the hill, the minimum crew for this is 4 people.
One of which is the helmsman, and one of which is the captain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's always the case.
Okay. So we don't really need many people, but I think we want to be able to have these dwarves with us.
I mean, if
other people stay with the ship. So how about we take
Braxon?
Yeah.
If we are impersonating as merchants always have their guard with them when they are delivering cargo and making the transactions, since there's going to be quite a lot of money involved. And they need a crew to actually unload the cargo.
Okay, fair enough. So,
and if we are masquerading as merchants, we should look like a merchant group.
All right.
Yeah,
okay, so we need more crew.
Yeah, we should bring in the crew. At least the dwarves.
Dwarves to guard basically the transaction and unloading of the cargo, and then the crew to do the unloading.
Yeah.
Nemariel's a wizard as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she'd be on the helm most of the time, so.
Yeah. And we'd probably get her to stay with the ship.
Alright, so just say for ease purposes, 10 human crew?
Yeah.
Okay.
How many does that leave on our main?
You got plenty back on your ship.
And once we're on Reorcs, I believe the plan was that I would be going to the company to get the chalice, and Lafdul would be going to the Thieves Guild. They're trying to find it.
Wow.
If there is one.
I think he's talking out of character there.
Lafdul is not going to be going to Thieves Guild. He's going to go to Locksmiths Guild.
I think that was out of character.
That was out of character. I was just
assuming
what the plan was.
Well, technically, it's a Locksmiths and a Locksmiths Guild and Lost and Found office.
So
collection.
Is that the case? Are you going to be searching out the Thieves Guild? Lafdul.
Am I muted? I can't
Nope.
tell.
You're not muted.
No.
I can hear you.
If
I might at least fence them out, I suppose. It's an idea for...
The idea was that you would find the Thieves Guild and ask them about the pirates.
No,
Well,
I would be doing that because it is a good idea to
it's
where stuff gets moved to.
it's a good idea, but I would suggest that we do it after we are certain that we are not going to encounter the spy. If Lafdul is going to be playing as our captain or first officer.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't need to be the captain or first officer. He can just be like the owner, the merchant, if he's
Yeah.
And
But
Braxon can be captain.
Quartermaster.
but
Well,
basically
no. What I mean, so a merchant doesn't necessarily have to have any actual command on the ship other than
He
what
bought
they
it
might
and
as
we're
owner.
through.
So they don't have to know anything about sailing. They don't know how to operate the ship. They are the ones that choose the cargo and stuff like that. That's what you can do if that's what you choose.
Yeah. But the point what was I was making was that Lafdul shouldn't go find the Thieves Guild while he's acting as that role as a bait.
I mean, he can change his appearance, though.
Yeah.
All right. So, how about this? I mean, we're happy with the number of crew that you're taking down, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys will have a week to decide exactly how you're gonna, what roles people are gonna play. How's that? You guys can discuss that during the week. But you bring your vessel down. You're directed into a narrow pool of water. It's clearly not drinkable water. Like there's some algae in it and stuff like that. Doesn't look like it would harm your ship any, but it's obviously not set up for like drinking and stuff like that. Looks like actually some of it's rainwater, which it was not raining when you came down. I did roll for that. Reorx is an arid world, but it does get rain on occasion. So
what season is it?
It's kind of always summer, but it's summer right now. So you land, and a dwarf from the portmaster's office comes over, and we'll handle exactly how you guys have set up your your disguises and everything later. We'll just assume that you've done so already. And he gets a quick rundown of what cargo you're carrying and what your purpose is here, and then charges you 8 steel pieces for docking fees and water service.
That's not bad.
It helps that landing on a planet helps that there's never an air tax on the planet. So you go ahead and pay that, and then you'll be free to do what you want next session.
Sounds good.
Okay. So, let's see. For this session, that is going to be... Everyone is going to get 500 experience points.
Cool.
And I think that'll just be a flat 500 for...
500.
Yeah, the interactions that you guys had with everyone.
Yep.
Alright, so I'm assuming no one's going up a level for that.
Oh, it's not good to assume.
It's not, but I feel pretty safe in that.
Yeah.
I still need to get Finn 1 XP somehow so that he's not on that 299.
Well, you've given him 500 XP.
I mean, like get a 1 in there, or a 6 or something. So it's not a 99.
I see. Every time you give him some stuff, he's got a 99 on the end.
Yeah.
Isn't there something Finn can do that earns XP?
Doesn't Finn have what stats are the primary stats for druids?
Okay, so we're good.
Finn, do you remember what stats are for? Like, are you getting the 10% bonus?
I never even thought about the 10% bonus, to be honest.
Oh.
Oh, I made that mistake.
You might have been missing out on 10% XP all this time.
I made that mistake in the past.
Yeah.
If you've got the prime requisite, you'd have to put the prime requisite bonus in the box.
Yeah, I'll go look.
And then you take the number from the bottom right column instead of the top.
I think that's obvious. It's just a question of whether he is done prime requisites.
If the druids have the same prime requisite that
Wisdom and
clerics
charisma. Wisdom and charisma. Do you have a 16 in both of those?
No, I do not.
Okay. Then you're not getting the prime requisite bonus.
What's your charisma?
15.
Which is exactly what he needed, so. Okay, well.
That's a shame. Well, thanks for the game.
Yep. So,
and thanks for the giant space hamsters that nobody except me appreciated.
Hey, Solas appreciated them.
I appreciate giant space hamsters. I just don't want them getting killed and turned into meat.
Oh, it's so tasty. Anyway, thank you guys for playing. Thanks everyone out there for watching. I really appreciate it. Do come out next week when we'll see what the party gets into with the here at this port. See if they can figure out who this potential spy is, or whoever it is that they think is there. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for the game.
Bye.